If you just ask me what are repo rates, I would say that repo rates are basically known as repurchase options, right? These are known as repurchase options. Now, what is the meaning of repurchase options? Now, let me tell you. Repurchase options means here we have our central bank. What our central bank is commonly known as the RBI, Reserve Bank of India, which is the central bank. Central bank has the capacity to print money as much as it can, right? Well, no other institution can, but central bank can. And central bank prints money and gives it to the central government itself, right? Once it gives it to the central government, the rate at which this RBI gives it to the central government, right? Why central government? Because if it doesn't give to the central government will not be able to distribute it to the commercial banks. Am I clear about it? In order to distribute into the commercial banks such as HDFC Bank, such as IDFC Bank, right? There's all other banks, SBIs and all. In order to get with all particular stable situations, the RBI has to sell the repo rates to the central government. This RBI, the repo rates will be dependent upon what factors? They will be dependent upon the macro factors. Macro factors in the sense, what are the things that are running in the world in itself? मतलब दुनिया में क्या क्या चल रहा है exactly उसके ऊपर चल रहा है, उसके ऊपर ये repo rates affect होगा. If repo rates are high, that means the world is moving in a higher direction, means the Fed has moved the repo rates higher. Every country has the repo rates, understand this. हर एक देश का repo rate होता है. जैसे इंडिया का 6.50 है % right now and today's date, right? Now there might be certain characteristics that India has 6.50 repo rate, other country has different position due to the currency, but every country has repo rates. And this repo rate depends upon the macro factors. Macro factors in the sense, in US, if US changes repo rates, basically all other currencies have to change repo rates. Why is that so? There's only one reason for it. Reason is because the US holds the reserve currency. Which currency? Reserve currency. Because if the reserve currency changes its valuation, all other currency also has to change its valuation. That's the rule of the state. That's the only rule. If whenever the repo rates gets changed, that is the only reason that the macro factor is also changing, right? So when RBI prints money and the rate at which it gives money to the central government, because the central government has to give it to the commercial banks, that rate is commonly considered to be as repo rates. Am I clear about it till here? Right? This function is known as repo rate, and the central bank adds something around more of 2.5% to it. You can see 2.5%, or you can say 2.25%, and it comes to customer. Right now, if you go on to HDFC Bank, अगर आप HDFC Bank में जाओगे and you ask to them कि भाई मुझे home loan चाहिए, the least amount of loan anyone can give is something called home loan. So home loan, घर खरीदने के लिए loan चाहिए. So the interest they are getting from RBI is 6.50%. So they will add that up. That is something like costing to them, right? ये तो costing हो गया ना उन लोग के लिए. इतना में तो खुद ही का पैसा आ रहा है, तो 6.5% में आ रहा है, and they will add something 2.25%, and they will make it 8.75%. That's the interest rate. And if you say yes, उन लोगों ने मेरे लिए घटा दिया interest rate, as the banks do for great amount of real estate and investment broker, that means they are decreasing their valuation, that is 2.25%. This can be negotiable. Well, if you are going to buy just one home, that is definitely not. But if you are investing in a huge and macro properties, that is definitely, well, that's the investment strategy, right? This is how the world progresses further. Now, this is how the entire thing works. Say 8.575% interest rate that you're getting is dependable, that is generated by HDFC. Is number one is the repo rates that HDFC is getting from RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, and it's adding is extra commission plus fees. That's their charge in the longer horizon, and the customer is paying 8.75%. Now, one thing I would like to say, that what rate are you buying? That matters the most, right? Whenever suppose there is a person named Ram, he buys a house because it is the dream of every individual person staying in India or across all countries to have their own home. They make their own home, to make their right? To have their own home basically. And then in order to make their own home, what happens is, what they do, the problem here starts is they get emotional with the factor and they don't understand finance. As a result, they take high level of interest rates. What is the level? They charge 8.75% from the bank. Banks are ready to give because they are having more amount of charges. Right. Now, the moment they charge this amount of loan, and due to repo rate cuts, now macro factor can be repo rate cuts, there can be cuts in repo rate which might bring the repo rate to 6.75% or low. अब जिसने यहाँ पर खरीदा उसने बहुत कम लोन दिया इंटरेस्ट, और जिसने यहाँ पर खरीदा उसने बहुत ज़्यादा लोन दे दिया. डिपेंड्स. Anyone who is taking, there are multiple factors that a person can go into hazard, dangerous positions. कैसे? Anyone, अब ये राम जब भी फॉर्म फिलअप कर रहा था, सपोज उसने लोन 2020 में लिया था जब रेपो रेट्स 4% चल रहा था आफ्टर कट्स 2021 में, ओके, when rates were going very down. Then what happened was Ram saw all the paper documentation and legitimations, और उसने यहाँ पर फिक्स्ड ऑप्शन के जगह he choose the floater option. दो ऑप्शन होता है whenever you choose to buy a home loan, तो फिक्स्ड ऑप्शन एंड फ्लोटर ऑप्शन. डिफरेंस क्या होता है? फिक्स्ड में रेपो रेट फिक्स रहता है, अब फ्लोटर में मूव होता रहता है विद रेस्पेक्ट टू मार्केट रेट्स, राइट. फ्लोटेड मतलब रेपो रेट्स के हिसाब से मूव होता रहता है. अब उसने 4% जब रेपो रेट चल रहा था, 4% प्लस 2.5% फ्रॉम द बैंक विच ही वॉज पेइंग 6.5%, तो ये 6.5% उसको मिल रहा था. एंड ही डिडंट टुक इट फिक्स्ड, ही टुक इट एज रेपो, मतलब फ्लोटेड. उसको बोला गया था फ्यूचर में घट भी सकता है, घटा तो नहीं. तो द पर्सन हु वॉज पेइंग 6.5% इंटरेस्ट रेट, नाउ द पर्सन इज पेइंग ड्यू टू हाइक इन रेपो रेट 2%, नाउ द पर्सन इज पेइंग 8.5% समथिंग और मोर. अब उसको घाटा हुआ कि प्रॉफिट, आप लोग ही सोच लो, राइट. सो दिस इज जस्ट अ स्मॉल एग्जाम्पल आई हैव गिवन यू. There are multiple examples like this that has occurred and will be occurring again and again and again in the history. So whenever you try to buy any particular purchase, understand the financial sectors, how repo rate exactly works. I have tried to explain that even two businesses or even two governments, the RBI and the central government, does the businesses among themselves. How you can just see this video that I'm playing in front of you.
Yes, it is. Right. Central government and the Reserve Bank of India. They do business among themselves. How? Come on, let me show you. Here is one of the major governments, commonly known as the RBI, Reserve Bank of India, or the central banks. Right? Here we have the central government. So now RBI basically what does it does is it prints money at a rate of 6.50%. At this rate, the central government buys the money from RBI. And central government, what does it does is central government just gives it to the private banks basically at 0.5 to 1%. Then the private bank gives it to public and institutions, correct, at the rate of 9.15%, in which they are making a profit of 2 to 2.5%. So this is the entire transaction of banks.
I would like to show you some of the factors based upon which the repo rate works. मतलब रेपो रेट जब भी चेंज होता है तो उस मार्केट के ऊपर उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या रहता है, राइट. Exactly, what are the impacts that the market has when repo rates are exactly changed solidly? When repo rates are changed, whenever repo rates are changed in the longer horizon, मतलब impact कैसा कैसे हुआ है. You can see यहाँ पर देखिए market, this is NSE, right? This is Nifty 50, National Stock Exchange, and Nifty 50 in 2000 it has given return of minus 14%. 2001 it has given return of minus 16.18%. Similarly till 2024, which is not yet completed, but in the longer horizon it has given per month itna return de ke aaya hai. Am I clear about it? Next, if you see 2023, 22, 21, 20, every year Nifty has shown positive or negative returns in the longer horizon. अगर मालूम कैसे चलेगा कि NSE का या फिर रेपो रेट्स का इम्पैक्ट क्या हुआ है? I will show you something. See out here. You can go to this particular page, bridgenile.in, and there is a blog, right? Blog says that RBI repo rate history in 2023, okay, which was written by myself. You can go down out here and you can see history of repo rates in India. If you see 2010, the repo rate was raised by this much. In 2011, the repo rate was raised at the rate of 6.5. By the end, it went to 5%, and you can read the entire details out here almost for free, right? Nothing is required. If you see 2020-21, I'm bringing out here, the repo rate cuts were several times due to COVID pandemic. जब भी market नीचे जाता है, what does government do? Government generally they just print money, or they just cuts the repo rate. The moment they cut the repo rate, the market hikes up, right? So as you can see, starting 15.15% in February, ending at 4% in May. That was the repo rate. They have generated huge amount of cuts in 2020, and the market went up instantly. That's the possibility. जब भी market नीचे जाएगा, government money print करके, as you can see 2021, the repo rate kept unchanged at 4% throughout the year. Now let us see the impact of 2020 and 21. What happened in the markets, right? Now let's see exactly होने का क्या हुआ 2020 and 21, right? Here it is 20 and 21. See, whenever there was a repo rate cut in 2020, यहाँ पर cut हुआ था 2020 में repo rate cut हुआ था, and there was a repo rate cut as well 2020 and 21. The moment they had a repo rate cut, you can see the market went up more than last year. 2019 में 12% था, in 2020 it moved up to 14.90%, which is approximately 15%. And due to more rate cuts, it just moved up higher up in 24%. So repo rate जब भी cut होता है, repo rate cut क्यों किया जाता है? The only reason the repo rate gets cut, that is market is falling down. Market is falling down, मतलब there is no purchase, मतलब आदमी लोग रेट ज़्यादा होने के चलते खरीद बेचाई नहीं कर रहा है, तो इसी के चलते आदमी लोग जैसे सो पीपल डू मेक मोर ट्रांजैक्शन, मतलब कोई भी किसी से ज़्यादा खरीदे या फिर बेचे, EMI में ज़्यादा ले सामान, घर ज़्यादा खरीदे, सो द इकोनॉमी बिल्ड्स अप. वो बिल्डअप करने के लिए वो सस्ता देना पड़ेगा ना उनको रेपो रेट्स, सो दे जस्ट कट द रेपो रेट्स डाउन. सो दे विल मेक द रेपो रेट्स फ्रॉम 8.75% टू डायरेक्टली टू 6%. अब आदमी लोग खरीदेगा, and once they buy, the consuming power goes up. This is how the government manipulates the market, right? Because it's in their hand how they can control the market. We think कि हम लोग खरीद रहे, no, हम लोग तभी खरीदते जब चीज़ सस्ता मिलता है. Same thing over here as well, right? It's so simple. Similarly, if you see in 2022-23, at the end of 23 basically, there was cuts in repo rates. Whenever there was cuts in repo rates, basically in 22, you can see whenever there was hiked in repo rate, 2022 में repo rate hike हुआ था ना, तो hike के चलते एक प्रॉब्लम आ गया था कि मार्केट में डाउनफॉल आ गया था. ओवरऑल रिटर्न इन द मार्केट इज 4.32%. So whenever there is a hike in repo rate, there is no purchase. Since there is no purchase, there is no return overall. Well, that's market. Understand? I hope I am clear about it. Because whenever you see markets falling down, matlab no income, no expense. Now, in order to make that income and expense, government cuts the repo rate. The moment it cuts the repo rate, the market goes up. Same case, whenever the market is at all-time high, already high inflation, everything else, because this will bring the high inflation, right? जब भी कोई आदमी लोग, अब जैसे पहले का टाइम में क्या होता था, आईफोन सबके पास होता नहीं था. Now everyone has a set of iPhone due to EMI facility available, or so and so factors. Right? Everyone is purchasing their own dream house, everything possible. As a result, the inflation is moving, soaring up. The moment inflation is moving, soaring up, in order to control this, the government, again, same, have to hike the repo rates. अब वो repo rate hike करेगा. The moment they hike repo rates, अब क्या हो गया? वो 6% का जो आ गया था, अभी 8.75% में आ गया. अब आदमी लोग कम खरीदा बेचाई करेगा. The moment they do so, now, again the economy will start slowly slumping down. It will become sluggish in nature, मतलब sideways हो जाएगा. As you have seen the economy in 2023, right? 2022 का end में F23 economy was sluggish, मतलब sideways था ना, ऊपर जा रहा था नीचे जा रहा था, एकदम flat bed पे था. Yes, that was the point. That is how hike in repo rate does. Once the hike is done, the market goes down again slowly. ज़्यादा momentum नीचे की तरफ आ जाता है. If it falls more than 5, 10%, 20%, 30% जाता है, तो उसको हम लोग market crash या recession का नाम दे देते हैं. And whatever it is, that's the cycle of markets. You should understand which cycle you are in, right? Next video will be on the cycle of markets. But before that, you have to understand what is the exact position of repo rates. अब ये नीचे तो आ गया, अब नीचे से ऊपर भी तो ठेलना है, because market cannot go in one direction. Now, in order to just control this, again, government will cut the repo rate. जैसे कट कर दिया, सस्ता हो गया, फिर से ऊपर चला गया, महंगा हो गया, फिर से हाइक कर दिया, right? And this is the system. आप बोलोगे कि ऐसे होता है क्या? I am not saying this to believe on me. I'll tell you, you go to history, you do your own research and understand, is this the same thing that has happened over and over again, or is it just with me? You will understand this is the same thing that has happened over and over again. So be careful. Thank you.